This Father's Day, we honor the men who lead with love, strength, and sacrifice. Join us for this powerful tribute to the fathers shaping homes, guiding generations, and holding the American family together. A Father's Legacy with your host, Beau Davidson, starts right now.
Welcome to A Father's Legacy, a Father's Day special for Real America's Voice. I'm your host, Beau Davidson. Papa, Dad, Daddy, Pa. These are all the words we use for our fathers. They can be everything from our life guide, to our spiritual leader, to our coach, to our friend and confidant. And for many, they can also be entirely absent. Fathers are not perfect, and there are many fathers who never wanted to be fathers, or who have simply given up on their roles and responsibilities. What a father should do, however, is rear his children to be the best they can possibly be. And from the beginning of time, fathers have had to hunt, provide, guide, and protect. We also look to our fathers for wisdom. Think of the first line of the Lord's Prayer, "Our Father who art in heaven." Similarly to how we call out to our Father in heaven, we call upon our own biological fathers for help, whether that's when we get a flat tire, whether we are having difficulty in school, or whether we just need someone to bounce an idea off of. We seek the wisdom of our fathers. We also often talk about our founding fathers, the great men who shaped our nation: Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton. We call them our founding fathers. That means that they provided foundational leadership. They provided the template for this great nation: how to run it, how to protect it, how to make it flourish. We, the children of America, look up to these founding fathers, and we honor them for the patriarchal role they had. Over time, there have been many great quotes about fathers and fatherhood. Umberto Eco said, "I believe that what we become depends on what our fathers teach us at odd moments, when they aren't trying to teach us. We are formed by little scraps of wisdom." Prevost Abbey said, "The heart of a father is the masterpiece of nature." Jennifer Williamson said, "A father's love is forever imprinted on his child's heart." And I like this one because it has no known attribute: Dad, a son's first hero and a daughter's first love. The Talmud even says, "When you teach your son, you teach your son's son." And Ann Getty said, "Any man can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad." I also like this one from the late Tim Russert: "The older I get, the smarter my father seems to get." And maybe my favorite of all, from Pam Brown: "Dads are most ordinary men turned by love into heroes, adventurers, storytellers, and singers of song." This one is an obvious favorite of mine because as a singer and songwriter, I'm able to express myself through music. But if we're being honest, not all dads are able to express themselves the way artists can. Some are tight-lipped. Older generations sometimes confused empathy or compassion with weakness. And that's why I like this quote from Denzel Washington: "The strongest, toughest men all have compassion. They're not heartless and cold. You have to be a man enough to have compassion, to care about people and about your children." If you remember the movie Big Fish with Albert Finney, Ewan McGregor, and Billy Crudup, the plot of the movie centers around a man realizing the end of his life. He has become disjointed from his son because the old man always told tall tales about his life, many of which had so much grandeur that as he got older, the son started disbelieving many of these stories. When the call comes that the dad has been hospitalized and the days seem to be getting shorter and shorter, the dad calls upon his son to tell the story of his life. And his son has trouble with it because he has kind of tuned him out. Let's take a look at the scene.
Dad? Hey, Dad. Hey, you want me to get the nurse? Huh? What do you want? What can I do? What can I get? You want some water? You want a bit of water? The river?
Tell me how it happened.
How what happens?
Go.
You mean what you saw in the eye? know that story, Dad. You never told me that one. Okay, hey, okay, I'll try. I need your help. Tell me how it starts.
Like this.
Okay. Okay, so it's in the morning, and you and I are in the hospital, and I'd fallen asleep in the chair, and I'd wake up, and I see you. Somehow you're better. Dad? You're different. Dad.
Let's get out of here.
And I say, Dad, you're in no condition.
Get that wheelchair. Hurry up, we haven't much time. Once we get off this floor, we're in the clear.
And we get in the wheelchair.
Faster!
Like we're escaping from the hospital, and
Well, what are you doing?
past Dr. Bennett, who tries to slow us down, and
Gary, stop them!
we're flying down the hall, and orderly after orderly is chasing us, and Mom and Josephine are at the end of the hall.
No time to explain. Stall them!
So you see, just in the fact that we are our Father's descendants, we have to carry on their story, whatever that may be, the good, the bad, the funny, the unfortunate, and we are all products of those stories. For many of us here in America, that may date back to the Mayflower and those early colonial settlers. Some of our fathers are and were pioneers, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, pastors, plumbers, carpenters, chefs, tech innovators, bartenders, servers, and janitors. I'm reminded of our very own Secretary of State, Marco Rubio's story as an immigrant from Cuba whose dad worked as a bartender so that his son could have a better life. Considering that Marco became a senator and now Secretary of State, certainly his father paved that path for him. I also think back to Abraham Lincoln and Alexander Hamilton, two American patriarchs. Both of them lost children during pivotal moments of their lives and bore the weight of this country on their shoulders. If you've seen the Broadway show Hamilton, you know that Alexander Hamilton was an orphan. And after he died, his wife carried on his story by starting New York's first private orphanage, which still exists today, known by the name Graham. These are the makings of a legacy and what gets passed on. Today, I want to focus on what a father's legacy is, because it's far more than helping you tie your shoe or teaching you how to ride a bike. A father passes on qualities that are often unspoken and unseen, values and principles that transcend time. And of course, we have to be honest enough to say that many times, fathers' mistakes are ours to learn from. Oftentimes, we have to be the dads that our fathers were not, especially if they were absent. However, the Bible tells us to honor our father and mother, and there doesn't seem to be much exception to that commandment. So I'd like to bring that kind of honor to today's special about the legacy of fathers. If you could view your family tree and follow all the branches back, you would see a visual representation of that legacy. You can trace your family name back. Recently, I went to visit my own father's grave in Memphis, and in that same cemetery are the headstones of some of my great-grandfathers, one of whom was a surgeon during the Civil War, treating patients on both sides of the conflict. These are reminders of who we are. It's part of our own story. So I think in order to really learn who we are as individuals, we have to look to our fathers and great-grandfathers, where there are some insights and pearls of wisdom. We become actual vessels of legacies because we received the legacies of our fathers. And now it is up to us to carry those legacies onward, both in how we live our own lives and also in what we pass on to our own children. Recently, I became a father for the first time, and it has been incredibly special to see in my son what my dad must have seen in me at this age. And while my father is not around anymore to be able to pass on certain things to my son, it will be up to me to do that, whether that's in teaching him how to fish, how to mind his manners, and how to handle his first heartbreak. And I want to also acknowledge those men out there who have acted as fatherly figures to others. The Big Brothers Big Sisters program comes to mind. It is tragic, but we do face a fatherlessness crisis in this country. Kids all too often have to grow up on their own without guidance. And that's a path that can lead to a world of challenges and pain. So today, in this special about a father's legacy, we will examine how fathers pass down a legacy, which often translates to many branches of the generational tree. I will speak with fathers who have some incredible stories and what they themselves want to pass on to their children. So come along on the journey of a father's legacy. We'll be right back.